First, let's do a typical Q&A, all right? So I have this chart here, and this chart is an oil chart. That means that, I know that some of you don't trade the oil, but I just wanted to talk about oil chart because it's one of the best instruments to trade, all right? And in fact, that if you look into, for example, a possible recession, then oil would be one of the first instrument that you want to have a look. All right, because when there are fear, okay, I wouldn't say we are into a recession, but when there are fear into a recession, then oil would be the one that the market will focus on. Okay, so let me just ask you a question. At the green color arrow here, okay, so at this green color arrow here, the one I'm drawing here, what would be your likely buyers? That means, what would you like to do? Would you more likely to be looking at a buy or more likely to be looking at a sell? How about the rest of you? Cannot hold. There should be only one direction, buy or sell. Okay, buy, right? Okay, why is that so? I mean, let's have a look, right? Because in this case, we have a previous high. So this was that previous high. And then we have another one more high here. So these are known as resistance. Okay, and when it comes inside here, so these would be known as support. All right, and then we have here, which is actually into a support. But one thing you have to know, all right, is that when a trade gets that obvious, that means that when you look at a trade, right, that's very, very obvious, then it would likely fail. Why? Because if you take a look at technology right now, I was just like playing with Mid-Journey. I'm not sure whether you have heard of Mid-Journey or all these AI that can draw nice pictures. All right, I was just playing with it and I was just asking Mid-Journey, which is the AI to draw images, to draw me a photo of Jerome Powell, all right, like a Superman, and trying to reduce inflation, but then it's causing some of the banks to the mid-sized bank in US to collapse, right? And it drew me very, very nice and very professional images. Okay, so with all these AI there, I'm very sure that they are able to see the previous historical levels, all right? And then what's the issue here? They are able to certain manipulation, okay? So a lot of you think that at this green arrow here, we should be looking to buy. In fact, that's too obvious, all right? So what happened would be, at this green arrow here, in fact, the price went up a little bit, but what subsequently happened was price had a steep drop and it cleared the support level, all right, of the previous support. Okay, and it had this very steep drop here. Okay, and then whoever who was in this trade, all right, I mean, no matter where you put your stop loss, unless that you don't put any stop loss, would be actually stop out. Okay, why is that so? Because it makes sense for prices to stop out, okay, so that whoever who are playing in this game here, the big boys, right, to accumulate a cheap price. And how do they accumulate a cheap price? They want to make sure that you make a loss and then you can sell to them cheap, right? But ultimately they are looking at accumulating it. Okay, and this is what I term it as that price had a wash and rinse. That means that, what kind of wash and rinse are we looking at? All right, it means that it washed something that's very obvious as the resistance that turned into support, which is a typical textbook example, and it came inside this level here, okay, which was a temporary, or rather also an obvious level, but it's probably not very well known to others. But a fact to us was that there was a wash and rinse, and this whole portion become a wash and rinse. Okay, now what I'm trying to share with you, all right, is that a lot of time when you had a trade, right, that's being stopped out, okay, a trade that's being stopped out, all right, then subsequently what happened? Okay, that trade that's being stopped out might result in a wash and rinse, and it's only after the wash and rinse that we're going to have a huge up. Okay, all right, so this is something to share with you. It might be that you are being stopped out and you say, hey, look, I don't want to have a look at it again. Okay, I don't want to see it again. Then what happened? Right, when you stopped, then that's when things might move up in a huge manner. Okay, so this is a typical wash and rinse pattern. And after the wash and rinse, when after people gets all the losses, and then it might eventually move up. All right. Now, what is washed? Right, washed is like a fake move that often result in the losses. Have you ever bought something? For example, you bought into a share, right, a stock, and then instead of it going up, the price actually moved down. Have you had this experience before? That means that you thought that this is a very good setup, and when you bought in, instead of it going up, right, it would first come down. Okay, and then when you look at the dropping prices, you say to yourself, and you're sitting in the toilet, and you say to yourself, should I cut loss? Should I not? Maybe just wait for a while. And the more that you waited, the more that it would come down. Okay, and finally you can't stand it anymore, and you decided to cut your losses to say, okay, this was a wrong choice. And what happens subsequently? Okay, price just recovered, all right, and then it moved up like nothing ever happened. Okay, now this is a typical wash and rinse, all right, because all these key levels, all right, are so easy to be seen. Okay, why is that so? Because when I'm doing programming, a lot of programming, we can easily pinpoint all these key levels, right, in just a millisecond. That means 1 millisecond or a few milliseconds, right, we can see all these levels, and all these levels are all automatically being drawn very quickly, right? Now, what is a typical pattern for wash and rinse in terms of buy? Okay, I presented the sell pattern, all right, during my presentation with you guys. All right, then a buy pattern is the opposite. So if the buy pattern involves a wash bar, let me just draw out the wash bar here. So this is the wash bar that closed below a previous low. So for example, take a look at this wash bar here, right? There was a close below the previous low. Okay, so this was that previous low here. All right, then when there was a close, we don't care whether that close, how that bar looked like in terms of the wash bar. We don't really care about it. We care only that there should be a close below the previous low. Okay, and then we will draw a wash line. Now, why is it that we need this downward movement? It has to do with you buying something at a low. Because when you are looking at prices, right? Okay, a lot of people would like to chase price higher to buy. Okay, now this is not a good behavior, right? Because sometimes when we look at prices and prices go up, right? Yes, it can continue to move up higher, but a good behavior, right, would be, for example, you can wait for price to drop lower so that you can buy lower in a upward movement. So a lot of people say, hey, look, for example, if I wait for price to drop, all right, and then I buy when it's low, it's like catching a falling knife. No, not true, because you will have to check the general setting to say that, hey, for example, if price is generally in an uptrend, I will still wait for price to drop down to go lower to buy in an uptrend. But my condition of buying is I want it to actually go down lower. Okay, so therefore, in the wash and rinse, you have the wash bar where price must be below a previous low. So as long as it is below the previous low, you will be able to draw in the wash line. Okay, so where does the rinse bar comes in? The rinse bar will comes in when price, instead of staying below the wash line, it actually closed back up above the wash line. So this one will result in a wash and rinse pattern. All right. Okay, now I would just pause for a while and let you ask questions, because from here, there should be some question and I address them. Any question? The usual question would be, how many candles, okay, how many bars, right, can there be between the washed and the rinsed bar? So this is a typical question. Okay, all right, so let me just talk about this one here. It doesn't really matter how many bars that's between the wash and the rinse bar. Okay, the minimum bar would be just a washed followed immediately by a rinse. Okay, but there can be many bars between the wash and the rinse bar. Okay, so let me just show it to you, right? For example, let's say I have this low point here. I have this candle here. All right, I have another one more candle that close, okay, below a previous low. All right, so as long as this condition present, I'm able to draw in a wash line. So this is a wash line. So what happened if another one more candle that close lower than the previous low? Can I draw in a wash line? The answer is yes. Okay, now it doesn't really matter whether it's a green or red bar or black or white bar. The key thing is there must be a close below the previous low. So this is just a very simple example. All right, so let me just take some question here. If the rinse bar close midpoint of the wash and above the wash line, it is still a valid setup. If the rinse bar close midpoint of the washed and above the wash line, yes, as long as if it's above the wash line, it is a valid setup. How do you find previous low? Previous low is by observation. You just have to ask yourself, okay, between the bar right now and the bar previously, all right, was there a close below the previous low? If the answer is yes, then that is a wash and rinse. Okay, all right. Now, same thing. If price continue to proceed downwards, okay, that means that, let's say, for example, right, continue to move down. Okay, then where would be the previous low? The previous low would be here, and you just continue to draw a wash line, right? And then all this would be the potential wash bar, but you only take the more recent one. Okay, you take the more recent one, all right? And when price rinse back up, that becomes our entry point. Okay, now I will touch on the entry point later on because it's a little bit tricky, right? Because we would be looking at the entry point from a fine-tuning point of view. Okay, I mean, that means that we had quite a lot of rules, right, on the entry point. For example, the entry point must be a significant close, and how do you measure a significant close, etc., etc. All right, so this is not as how to say that there's a lot more inside this methodology. Okay, but generally, this is how a wash and rinse behaves. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at the live trades on live example here. Now, remember what I talked about during the session on Saturday. All right, I talked about yen being a key indication of risk. Remember that? Yes. Okay. Now, yesterday was rather this morning, right? I would say generally yesterday was FOMC, okay, which is like 4th May in the morning. All right. Now, if you have a look, right, into the system, what we usually do, right, is that we do not know whether it is going to be a risk on or risk off trade. Okay, what is risk on? Whether the risk is on, all right, that means that people are willing to take more risks, likely to imply that the stock market will continue to go up, or people will take less risk. Okay, but the yen gave us a clue. Okay, that means that the yen, right, gave us a little bit of a clue yesterday because, all right, yesterday at about 1 p.m., okay, we had 2 sell signal. I know that it's a little bit small, all right, but we had 2 sell signal coming in. First from the Sing Yen, which was a sell at this price here. Okay, now when you see this yellow box, that's in yellow, right? It means that these will be the signal that we should be focusing on. Because a lot of time when people don't trade well, not because they are not capable, not because they are not knowledgeable, It's just because that they cannot find that right trade to trade. That means at the point of time, they just couldn't identify the trade. But when they look back, they say, hey, look, this particular trade looks so perfect, right? So therefore, I built this dashboard. So this dashboard would be scanning, all right, every second for potential trade to happen. Okay, so therefore, yesterday at 1 p.m., we had the trade that came out, which was a sell in the franc yen, all right, and a sell in the Sing versus yen. So what this means is that yen is actually gaining strength. This gave us a clue that before the actual FOMC, all right, the market is likely to be dropping. What market? The stock market, likely to be dropping. Okay, and where was our entry, right, of that Sing yen and franc yen? I just put here, right, Sing yen, right? So let me just go through one by one. So this chart here is a 4-hour chart. That means that every bar is a 4-hour. When you ask me about the entry, okay, what we do is that we adopt a multiple time frame entry. That means that we will spot the trade in a higher time frame, such as a day chart, and then we will fine tune that trade, right, in the lower time frame. Okay, so therefore our entry, right, was this particular bar here. So this was our entry. Okay, so we entered somewhere around here, and then by the time that I captured the chart today, so this was our profit. It's about 75 pips, huh? All right. Okay, so let's talk about how much is 75 pips. Okay, but you know, I mean, in terms of entry, okay, it is not as simple as you imagine, because we're still applying the wash bar here. For example, if you see this particular blue color box, okay, so there was a close above the previous high. Okay, so therefore, right, we can draw in the wash line, which this is the wash line. So this one is your wash line. Okay, now as long as price stays above the wash line, it will be seen as generally bullish. Still bullish because price continued to go up. Now, what happened if it doesn't? It flipped the other side, like what happens to the Sing yen, that becomes our entry for a short. Okay, we do not wait until the end of the day because that's too slow. In order to be faster, in order to make more money, all right, we wait for price to do a trigger in a 4-hour and is being alerted to us, all right, via a dashboard. So that was our trade on the Sing yen, all right, which gave us a clue that index during the night would be dropping. Okay, now our trade, right, for Sing yen, right, was about 75 pips. I know that this pips could be a little bit difficult, but this is where I want to really bring out, right, just the correct utilization of money. Okay, a lot of people are focused on going into the stocks. Okay, I'm not objecting to that, but I'm just saying that if you look at the utilization of money, okay, for example, if you are looking in, let's say, trading the forex and a wide variety of instruments, because we don't only do the forex, we do the index and we do the oil and the gold. Okay, now then you can start small. That means that if you have no experience, you don't need to just put like 1,000 or maybe like 5,000 or 10,000 into the stocks. You don't need to do that. You can start small. You can start as small as, for example, $15 for this particular trade, 15, okay? Because then you can do a micro lot, all right? So 15 is what you need as your deposit, all right? And if you profit, for example, 75 pips, you would have made like 750. So that's about a 50% gain. Okay, now let's say, for example, you say, I want to be a little bit more aggressive and I want to progress a little bit more. All right, I could just start on the mini contract. Okay, now mini contract means that you need to come up with about a deposit of $150. But by making $75, is that good enough? Perhaps you say, oh, what is $75? All right, but again, that this $75 would be a good return because that's 50% again. And if you really want to upsize, and you can say, hey, look, you know, I could just like put in like 10 standard contract, which is like 15,000. All right, as a deposit, but then that can give you 7,500. So therefore, when you look into the forex or into the CFDs instrument, there is a huge potential for you to have a good control, right, of the money. if you think that, for example, day trading or short-term trading is good for the current market, I could just put money into day trading. If I have a investment opportunity, then I could take the money from the day trading, all right, and put it into the investment. But you don't need to keep on waiting for the investment to come, because you can easily, go in and out of your trade. And this is the purpose that I want to bring up here, okay? Because I said before, right, in 2008, where the global financial crisis happened, a lot of people were stuck in their stocks. They could not withdraw at the right time. They were stuck. Okay, but when the stock plunged and hit a low, they don't have the money to buy because they were stuck with the money at the stocks. All right. Whereas I wasn't. I was actually in this trading in and out. And by the time that when the stock market dropped and corrected about 45%, I actually put in a lot of money to buy in the long term. And this is how you grow your wealth. Okay, and we are probably in this condition right now, which I have encouraged my students to do a short-term trading. That means to consider short-term trading so that you can have a proper use of your money. Okay, so this one I want to emphasize again. What was the question, Valerie? Isn't there more swing highs other than the pink line you have drawn? The pink line that I've drawn, I'm not sure whether which pink line that I've drawn. All right, but as far as what we are concerned, when the signal comes in, it's look at all the calculations, and then our trade, right, was put in here at this place here, and then we make the money. Okay, all right, so let me just continue. Now, apart from yen was one of the key instrument, right, to look at when there is a risk-off situation. Another one more currency that you want to focus on would be actually the franc, okay, when there is a risk-off situation. So yesterday, right, apart from having a trade, right, in the yens, okay, we also have trades in the dollar as well as the franc. Okay, so let me just point out to you, right, why it makes sense to trade into the dollar. So this was our trade in the dollar, which is pound dollar here, buy. And then we had another one more trade here, which was into the Aussie franc, right? And that was a sell. You can see the lit up portion, right? The yellow one, right? That's our signal, okay? It happens about 4 minutes ago when I captured the chart. Okay, now let me just explain why it makes sense to trade into the franc. Now, when you are trading into the franc, now franc is also one country, okay, which is Switzerland, right, which is regarded as the safe haven. That means that if there's any issue happening, the rich, right, would transfer money to Switzerland, right? So this is the common knowledge that we know, isn't it? So therefore, when there's a risk off, that means that people don't want to take a lot of risks, okay? Then this becomes a situation where this franc becomes a place for us to go long. Okay, so this franc would be a long trade for us. Okay, all right, so we have a short Aussie franc. It means that we are shorting the Aussie, all right, and then going long the franc. So this was our trade then. Okay, all right, now let's take a look into one of the trade now for Aussie franc. Yeah, same thing, right? Okay, here we go. Do you see that? Just clean this one up. Okay, do you see this particular green line that's being drawn here? So this was the green line, right? Okay, now what happened to here was that price had a close above the previous high. So this is how you see in terms of the day. Okay, so I'm just going to draw you the day time frame, right? Okay, so same thing, how we apply that. We have a price that closed above the previous high. Okay, so this was a high point here, and then price had a close. Okay, now what we are looking for is we are only concerned on this wash line. So this is the wash line that we are concerned about. All right, and the system will automatically draw you this green wash line. Okay, so green wash line is here. Now, when this green wash line happens, okay, now as long as price continue to go above the wash line, there wouldn't be any wash lines, okay? Because treat the wash line as a barrier. Right? When price is above the wash line, it would be bullish. When price is below the wash line, it will be bearish, right? Okay. Now, then when price close below the wash line, that becomes a clear sign of a wash and rinse. Okay. So we were triggered on the trade, right, at this point here. Okay. So this was the point that will trigger a trade. Now, the key thing of why this trade works out, okay, is when you are able to identify a resistance here. That means at this point here, as long as you can identify a resistance, okay, then this trade will work out very well. Okay, now, so one of the application of wash and rinse, whether you are trading into the stocks or whether you are doing into the index or the FX, right? You have to make sure that price is very near to a key level. So this is the trick here. Okay, all right. So for example, we had a long pound dollar, right? That happened. So yesterday our trade was fantastic because we had quite a lot of nice trades coming in. Okay, so let's say for example, we have the long pound dollar here. All right, so let me just do a bit of a revision, right? Okay, in terms of a wash and rinse pattern. Okay, now what is that pattern here? Same thing I mentioned before. You need to have a bar. And you need to have one that closed below the previous low. So therefore, you just draw in a wash line. Okay, so same thing, we differentiate our wash line. Okay, let me just show you where the bar is, right? Because, you know, what we do is that we actually, okay, look at the wash and rinse, right, from the lower time frame. Okay, so imagine that this is one bar here. So this is one bar. All right, the shaded portion would be your close. That means that it closed below, okay? Then this one will be another one more bar. Okay, so this will be another one more bar here, right? Okay, now as long as price had a close below the previous low, so this was the previous low, right? Okay, if it stays below the previous low, if it continues to stay below the previous low, then this would be considered a wash. Okay, so it will continue to become a wash bar. Okay, but if it closed above the wash line, so this one will be the wash line, then as long as it closed above it, then it becomes a wash and rinse for us. Okay, so what our system will do is that it will automatically alert us when the bar closed above the wash line in this point here, and that's how we enter the trade. Okay, so this was our trade yesterday for the pound dollar and the Aussie franc, as I've showed you just now. All right, so it came in the alert. So let me just show you the alert, right? Okay, just give me a minute here. Okay, so that was the pound dollar here alert, which is here, this pound dollar alert. All right, and this is the Aussie franc. Okay, so this is the Aussie franc alert here. All right, any question here so far? Because I would be going through a little bit more later on. Okay, good. All right, now anybody saw the S&P 500 yesterday? Okay, now when the alert comes, you still need to look at that trade again, yes, because you want to seek confirmation. But rather than you looking at 30, 40 pairs, then you can be just looking based on alerts, right? And you just choose those that light up. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at S&P 500, right? Yeah, just give me a minute. Okay, same thing. This is a H4 chart because we always fine-tune our trade in a H4 chart. All right, you realize that the pattern is very consistent. So this was what happened yesterday. Okay, now same thing. Let me just draw that for you. Okay, now see this blue color bar here. Okay, and then see this bar here. Okay, now this blue color bar means that there was a close above the previous high. Okay, now we talk about the bearish wash line means, so we have one bar here. As long as it closes above the previous high, we draw a wash line. So this is your wash line. So that's very clear. Okay, so this particular wash line is being drawn. All right, automatically. Okay, now, so you have to know that as long as price is above the wash line, generally you will be bullish. Then what happens if it's below the wash line then? If it goes below that, then these would be bearish. Okay, it will be bearish, right? Okay, now, when price is below the wash line, then we will initiate a short. Okay, now, when do I know that price is below the wash line? Because the wash line will be calculated already, which is 4150. Okay, and when I was doing the lesson, I told the students, as long as it's below the wash line, we will be going for a short. And then what happened to the bar when it actually moved down? All right, when it moved down here, see that this was a huge long bar. Okay, and then this is just beyond acceptable, because then it's too high a risk. Okay, but I wanted to point out to you, right, a very simple wash line is being observed in the international market. Okay, why is that so? All right, because we are able to place in a limit order. Okay, a limit order, right? Because as you see, right, we were able to place in a limit order, sell limit order, right, at the wash line here, back into the wash line. You see how during FOMC, right, prices are so sticky to the wash line. So we are able to use this, right, as a chance to re-enter that trade to go short, partly because what kind of inputs do we have? We have the input coming in from the yen. We knew that with the rising yen, this is going to be a negative for stocks. We also know that with a rising franc, the market basically would be using a risk off. Okay, so therefore we are able to place in a trade at that wash line. And I just wanted to point to you that you knew FOMC. This is an international event, but we are able to pinpoint that wash line and hit that top, and we are able to place that in. I'm not using a 1 minute chart, okay? And I never use a 1 minute chart because it's simply so unreliable. People who are using the 1 minute chart, unless that you can fight and win the programs, the AI behind it, normal people, normal trader, all right, can never make money, all right, unless that they have some form of a super quick calculation. Okay, so I'm not using a 1 minute chart. So this is a 4-hour chart, all right? But I'm just trying to tell you that the wash and rinse are something that you need to know, especially how simply you just draw one single line and that's it. Okay, now let's take a look at oil. Now, oil is also something that just happened recently. In fact, that this oil trade, I point out to my community, all right, somewhere around here. Okay, and at this bar, okay, at this bar, let me just clean it. Okay, at this particular bar. Okay, so that was our oil short. Okay, let me just revise it, right? Okay, you see that pattern coming in again and again. Right now, this is a 4-hour bar. Okay, 4-hour bar. I've shown you whether it's the indexes, whether it's the oil, whether it's gold, or whether it's the FX. We're all using 4-hour bar. Okay, we don't change the method. Okay, it's the same method. Right now, there was a close above the previous high. Okay, so where is the previous high? Okay, take a look at this one here. So this was the bar, and this bar had a closed above a previous high. So this was another one more day bar here, and it closed and resulted in this wash line. See this? Day one wash line, 75.53. Okay. All right. Now, same thing, right? As long as it closed above a previous high, you draw a wash line. So if price stays above it, what do? You continue to expect that it should be bullish, right? Now, what happened if price closed below it? Then what is this? What is this pattern if price actually closed below the wash line? What do you call this? Yeah, it's rinsed. How about the rest? Yes, rinse bar, right? Okay, very good. Just give me a minute. Okay, now that means that what happened, as long as price closed below the rinse bar, all right, then this would be a very good chance for us to go short, right? Okay, now, so we went short in oil using the same pattern. That means no change, using the same pattern. And where was our entry? It was almost like a no-brainer entry here. Okay, and then that's it. Hit the low, we exited, and that was a very nice trade. Why do I think that, right? We need to be exposed to different instruments, not only on stocks, because right now, imagine that there could be a crash, okay, or there could be a recession. There will be some stocks which are immune. I don't think that they are totally immune, okay? But there are certain instruments which are good for us short term, okay? So for example, oil will be one that will react nicely if there should be a recession. So we should be chasing after money, right? Okay, and oil became a very nice trade for us to do at that point of time, using the same setup again and again and again. Okay, all right. Any question here? Okay, now let's talk about how we trade then. Okay, so first we have the dashboard. Okay, we have this dashboard here, which is the 4-hour dashboard. All right. Then second, you realize that there are some boxes that are being drawn here. Okay, see that? Just get the boxes here. Okay, so there are all these boxes that's being drawn here. All right, so these are what we call the auto boxes. Okay, then we have all these auto lines which are drawn. Okay, so in my setup, right, nobody actually draws a lot of lines. Okay, because all of these are all automatically drawn, including the wash and rinse pattern. All right, including the wash lines. Okay, so this is the dashboard that shows every 4 hours. Okay, now it means that if you take a look at a trader, right, for us, if you take a look at the trader, we only trade every 1 hour, every 4 hours. Okay, that means that based on the current time zone, we only put in a trade, right, at 1 p.m. if there's a trade, at 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. and probably at 1 p.m., 1 a.m. we will be going to sleep already. Okay, so we would be looking at a trade every 4 hours. Okay, and we never go and look for trades. The trade will come looking for us. Why? Because we use a dashboard to screen all our trades. Okay, and we publish the dashboard, right, in our Telegram channel. That means that if you are in our Telegram channel, you'll be able to see, right, all the signals in the dashboard. So you just have to remember the time. 1 p.m. is after your lunch or before your lunch. You can just look at your handphone and then put in the trade. 5 p.m. will be, you are about to leave for your work. And 9 p.m., you will be back home and ready to put in the trade. Okay. And I strongly encourage, right, anyone to consider, all right, the different instruments. Okay, because I myself, I'm doing stocks, yes, but sometimes that, you know, that the stocks are either that you have like 10 stocks or 20 stocks to choose, all right, and then you chose the wrong one. Other people's stocks are moving, your stocks are not moving. Okay, so this is horrible. Okay, but if you can have some short-term instruments which make sense, for example, if the market is worried about recession, then what would be the trade they're looking at? They are looking at short oil. And if you're looking at recession, then we want to buy gold as a hedge. Okay, so these are the things that you want to look at. Okay, now, so we have the auto boxes. That means that we draw in the boxes, all right, to tell us what happened in the higher time frame. Okay, so all these are all automatically drawn. And I just want to share with you, all right, that trading in my community is very different because I encourage automations. Okay, and this is something which I didn't have a lot of time to present that, but I just wanted to talk about, right, how automation works. Okay, let's say, for example, you think that, okay, I'm going to go out in the next 1 hour, but the next 1 hour, a trade is going to happen. Okay, then what can you do then? You can drag in our robot And when a trade meet the criteria, you will automatically open the trade for you. Okay, that means that when you received an alert in the dashboard, all right, and if you drag in the robot before the alert happens, because we can already pinpoint all the levels, all right, then you are able to open the trade automatically for you. Okay, so that's the thing, auto open the trade. Now, second is that, let's say, for example, you're sleeping, and yesterday was FOMC, right? And if you're in a winning trade already, and in a winning trade, you want to make sure that, okay, nothing goes wrong. You want to tighten your stop loss. Okay, so what this robot will do is that it's able to trail your stop loss and protect your profit. Okay, so this is a very important component, right, of your trade management. How many of you are not making money because you didn't lock in your profit? Okay, why do I say so? If you take a look at these again, right, you realize that there is one component that it keeps adding in a lot more trades, and it keep having this short little red line shifting lower. Okay, let me just show it to you, right? Look at this short little red line here, right? It kept shifting lower. So this is one component of protecting your profit. So this is very important because you just want to make sure that during times, right, that you have a winning trade, your profit are protected. Okay, so that's key component, important here, all right? Okay, so we use a lot of automation. Now, should you not want to use automation, it's fine, okay? But if you can use automation, there's a lot of convenience for you. Okay, so all these will be provided as well. Okay, so let me just move on to the next one. Now, let me just talk about the full system here. When do you drag in? Okay, again, question back to you, all right? So this is a H4 chart. So this one is H4, 4 hour. Now, do you see this full bar here? Okay, all right, so this is a bullish bar, all right? Now, do you see this another one more bar here? Okay, now in this case here, are we looking for a buy or are we looking for a sell pattern? Are we looking for a buy or are we looking for a sell? Okay, where is your wash bar? So this is your wash bar, and then this one will be your wash line. Can you see that? Okay, so this one will be your wash line, and then this one will be a wash bar, right? Okay, now when the wash bar happens, okay, when the wash bar happens, all right, you will be able to see the wash line being drawn. Okay, that means the green wash line will be drawn. All right, now let's say, for example, I need to go out. I need to go out to work, but I wake up early in the morning because I usually will wake up at 5:30, right? And I wake up and I turn on my computer. Okay, and at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, I should be able to see that this green wash line is being drawn. All right, now then what can I do? Okay, I can just drag the robot in at any time between a signal is to happen. Okay, and bear in mind that we only trade at 1 p.m. That means that I can just wake up early, look at the green line, drag it in, all right? And I can have time between the time that I wake up, which is 5:30 to 6 to 1 p.m. to put in that robot, okay? Or you can say that, okay, I think that price is near to a resistance. Same thing, right? It's near to a resistance, all right? So let me just drag in the robot. You don't really care because it's near to resistance, all right? As I said, wash means works very well near to strong levels, all right? You drag it in and then it automatically opens the trade, okay? So this is what our technology is catching up, okay? It's changing our life. It's also changing the way that we trade. It's changing a way that we write, because right now, if you want to write a nice title, you ask ChatGPT. Okay, if you want to do a nice trade, you put in alum. Okay, so that's what we are doing. Okay, things are changing and we have to adopt technology in our trade. We cannot rely on one guru to tell us what to do because the guru can be wrong, right? But if you can just get the skill and then just put in the robot, you can execute the trade yourself and let the robot manage the trade for you. Now, managing the trade is very important because it's not us who are not able to find a good trade. It is always not able to manage and write the trade to the maximum. Okay, so this is just to let you know, this is how we trade, right? I just wanted to share with you, or rather, I'm not sure whether I have time, but just quickly do that. Okay, so this, for example, okay, is how I drag in the trade. So I drag in the robot already for this one, which is S&P 500. Okay, you realize that automatically how fast that it sold the trade for me. Okay, there was 2 lots being sold here. Automatically put in the trade. And what it did, it put in the stop loss for me and it put in the profit target as well. Okay, so in a way, right, a lot of things you don't need to decide on your own. You just have to drag in the robot and you will just decide, right, where's the stop loss for you? Where's the target profit for you? Okay, so that is really how we trade. All right. Okay. Now, therefore, let me just give you a summary of what I want to express to you. Don't guess how we trade. Okay. Don't guess our entry. Okay. Don't guess which time frame that we enter, because I let you know everything. But what is required, right, is actually the tools. Okay. It's actually the experience that we can guide you. Okay. Because wash and rinse can be applied in any instrument, whether it is stocks or whether it is in forex or whether it is in index or whether it is in oil, okay, or gold. Okay, this is all the instruments that we're trading, and I think that this is even more important in the environment right now. Okay, let's say, for example, should there be a recession, should there be a crash, then you need to know what are the instruments that can quickly react, and you can use this opportunity to make money. Okay. All right. Now I'm just going to pause here to take any questions. Any question here? Okay. Don't have. I'm just going to proceed, right? I'm just going to quickly run through, all right, what we have. Okay. Because that, how do you apply the indicators to other instruments like stocks? Well, we are able to apply it into the platform, which is called MT4, MT5. In this platform, there are stocks, but they are not all the stocks that's listed. Not all of them are listed, okay? Therefore, you have limited choices, right? Now, what I wanted to pinpoint is I wanted to take note, right, is that must you be looking at stocks? Okay, why? Because let's say, for example, I have an index trade and the index trade can make me $10,000. So would you want to go for the index trade, which is $10,000, or must you insist on the stocks? Okay, so what happened to a lot of our community is that we draw the line ourselves in the trading view, all right? And then we apply the same concept. Okay, so there are times, right, when I spot a good trade in the stocks, okay, like Apple at $130 on the wash and rinse, all right? Then I let them know, they will go and look at the stocks. Okay, so we can't apply this in all the stocks, but we apply that in the stocks, right, that are commonly traded. Okay, all right, so I'm just letting you know that yes, we apply the wash and rinse in stocks, but you can't apply the indicator because then it's coded in a different platform. Okay, so Valerie asked that, is it right that we do not need to know how to draw the wash line? We just let the system do it? Yes. Okay, why? I won't say that you don't need to draw the wash line, because knowing how the wash line is formed is helpful. Okay, but sometimes, right, when you do your math, right, you knew that 6 plus 7, right, is equal to 13, okay? Or maybe that 60 plus 70 is equal to 13. Or maybe 8 plus 9 is equal to 17. You know about it, but sometimes you still want to press the calculator, correct? Okay, because when you press the calculator, you have a peace of mind. Same thing. I know my student know how to draw the wash line. But if it can be drawn mathematically, automatically, it saves time, but it also reaffirm whatever that we know, okay? Because all these are all hard-coded inside. They won't make a mistake, okay? All right? Yeah, okay, Colin said, no need to aim for stocks, but I'm curious how to apply the indicators on different instruments. Yeah. Unfortunately, as I said, right, this is only coded for MT4, MT5. We have limited stock selection, but the theory, okay, the theory can be totally be used in the stock market. Okay, all right. Why do we need to drag the trade management robot into the trade? It's like switching on. Okay, it's like switching on, it's like turning on the lights. For example, you have these auto lights, right? You clap your hands, okay, to turn on the lights, right? You still need to clap your hands. For example, you have all these robots that vacuum your floor, right? Okay, but you need to give an instruction to the robot that vacuum the floor to start vacuuming the floor when I'm about to come home. Okay, same thing. When you need to, let's say, you want to trade, right? You want the system to trade for you. You need to give an instruction to the system, all right, to start to trade for you. Okay. Now you can leave the robot there in 24 hours, but because this is a trade management robot, okay, trade management, okay, it helps you in terms of the trade. It helps you to open the trade. It helps you to manage the trade. All right. But if you look at the professional use, right, okay, is that we still need to look at the charts a little bit. Okay. Now, a lot of people would sell you the freedom to say you leave it there for 24 hours, you will sure make the money. Okay. This is really more like gimmick. Okay. There are possibility for this to be done, but you know, we still employ traders to guard the position. Okay, so this is what I'm doing, also employ traders to guard the position, right? There's no such things as you just leave it there 24 hours for it to work on itself. Okay, so there is still need to be some form of a human involvement. Okay, yes, I would share the Zoom session with you because just now there was problem with the streaming software, so we ported over to Zoom. Okay. All right, so let me just go on to this TAW plus. All right, what we are offering here, okay, is a full refund of the course fee. All right, a lot of you ask me, how is this possible? Then let me just ask you one question. You look at all these Singapore brokers, right, like Tiger, Mumu, okay, they say that if you open an account, they give you 1 Apple share. Do you ever ask them why you get an Apple share? They also say that you recommend your friend, you get Apple share, and your friend get Apple share, right? Okay, do you ever ask them why your friend get Apple share and you get Apple share as well? You never ask, right? Okay, so same thing. Every company has a marketing budget. Therefore, they pass you that marketing budget to you. Okay, you only have 1 Apple share. All right, so what I did, the same thing, right? I'm actually quite established in this industry. That means that if you are looking at forex, then I would be almost like maybe not the #1, but could be the #1 in Singapore industry. Okay, I think so only, I guess only, guessed. All right, so therefore, what I did, right, is I went to the broker and said, hey, look, okay, hey, look, you sponsor my course. In return, all right, you must give something back to the student. Okay, the broker said, okay, I have a marketing fee. I can transfer this marketing fee to you if you recommend someone else to me. All right. I said, no, I don't want you to give me the marketing fee. You refund that as a cash back to them. So that's what I did. Okay. So therefore, what I did, right, is I took that marketing fee that I'm supposed to receive, okay, and then pass all of that to you. Okay. And I don't want to say that I received 1,200, I give you $500. That to me, right, is too troublesome. Okay. And I say, okay, let's all refund back to them, which is $1,200, all refunded back to them. All right. And because I think it's too troublesome to go and calculate that money, a lot of people thought, hey, look, how can it be a full fee refund? How can that 1,200 be all fully refunded to me? All right. It just cannot be imagined. I pay 1,200 and then that 1,200 is being refunded. So this is how it goes. Okay. I have all that money, all right, refunded to you. Okay. All right. So therefore, we have two packages here, and I think that you should take the TAW Plus. Okay. TAW Plus is our latest offering. All right. What it does is that it has the TAW strategy. That means the full strategy. Okay. The full strategy, right? Okay. And we were selling that for $700. Okay. Now in that full strategy, we gave you the indicators and the robot. Okay. And that cost $576 for 12 months use. Okay. So we give it to you complimentary. Okay. So $700 refunded. This one, which is the robot, right? Complimentary, give it to you. Okay. Now, if you, but still, right, you have to pay me $700 for the cost, huh? And then these $700 get refunded. So to you, it's free. Now, we came with a new program, which is the hand holding, that we are training every day. Okay. Monday to Thursday, Friday, we have the tech support. All right. So this is at $500 for 12 months. And this is being refunded back again to you. Okay. To you is free. Then I told the broker, I said, look, if you want them to trade well, you better cover their losses, because a lot of people fear making loss. All right. Okay. They say, okay, fine. We will cover the losses for the first $500. Now, this means that if you make a loss, right, for the first $500, then the broker will pay you that $500 lost. Okay. What happens if you make a loss of $501? They will pay you $500 only, and you make a loss of $1. So this is a perfect opportunity, all right, for you to learn as well as manage your emotion, and as well as use this loss cover to make money. And in fact, that right, yesterday I told the student they must trade the FOMC, okay, because they were covered by the loss cover. But should it move, right, then that money is for them to gain. So this is the power of loss cover. Okay. Now, all in all, it's $2,276. This is real value, right? Because if I were to charge for this one, then you will have to pay $576. And then net total is $0. Okay. All right. So how it goes, okay, I just attached a bit of a testimonial here just to let you know. For example, did I get the refund? Yes, I got the refund in less than 24 hours. Me too. Okay. And a very fast one, as long as we meet the volume requirement. Okay. So what kind of volume requirement are you going to meet? Okay. In terms of condition. Let's take a look here. Now, this is you. All right. So did I receive anything? The answer is yes. Because a lot of people thought, hey, look, you know, if you are telling me that the money is refunded, I don't receive anything. No, I received this $1,200, which is to us. You pay us first, $1,200, right? Okay, now, then how do you get this refund of $1,200? So the broker, which is XE, would refund $1,200 as cash. Okay, so it will be cash to you at $1,200 back to you in your trading account, on condition you fund 5,000. So this is what they are asking you now. Your 5,000 is actually your money because you can withdraw that. Your 1,002, which is refunded to you, all right, can also be withdrawn because it is a cash. Okay, I repeat, right? So this money that's refunded is a cash. So all in all, when you fund 5,000 and when you receive a 1,002 in your account, all right, so this 6,002 will be your money. Okay. If you are serious in trading, then you need that money inside your account as well. Okay, because you can't be saying that I attend a course and I don't want to trade. So this one, it doesn't make sense. All right. Okay. So this is the process here. So this is how the refund will work. All right. Okay. Now, on top of the cashback, right? That means the cashback of 1,002. We still have the loss cover, all right, of $500 within the 90 days. All right. Now, how to get all this, right? All this done. How to get all these? What are the terms and conditions? First, the account must come from us. Now, why is it that must come from? Is because Bini, Tara says, pay part of that refund. Okay, we did pay part of that refund. Okay, so therefore it must come from us, because if it doesn't come from us, how do I know that you are my students and I pay for that refund? Okay, now you must fund a minimum of 5,000, which is Sing dollar 5,000. Okay, and you must fulfill a minimum of 2 standard lots in terms of trading volume. Okay, now what is this 2 standard lots? That means that 2 standard lots in forex or equivalent. Okay, that means you must trade, and after you fulfill the trade requirement, then they give you that cash refund. Okay, I have students who fulfill that trade requirement in 3 minutes. Okay, all right, I repeat, a lot of students, some of them cannot wait for too long. They want the refund immediately. They meet that volume requirement in 3 minutes. Okay, how to do that? You just have to open and close, all right? And you lose the spread. I will demonstrate to you later on. Okay, now because you are covered by this loss cover of $500, right? So even when you open and close and you lose the spread, that loss will be covered in this $500. Essentially, you don't lose anything because it's being covered by that $500. Okay, all right. Now I'm just going to pause here to get your question. Any question? Therefore, your consideration is number 1, I want to learn something. Okay, I want to learn wash and rinse. All right. Now, even if you think that wash and rinse is lousy, which is never is, all right, then you say, I want to learn a new instrument. Should there be a crash? I want to learn so that I have a new option. If the stock market or the stocks that I chose got stuck and I don't have enough money to put the money inside the stocks anymore, then will there be other instruments that I can still make some money? Okay, all right. Now, in case there are a lot of good opportunities, for example, all right, gold has been doing very well. Okay, yen has been moving very well. Are there any instruments from all these doing very well instruments that I can participate? Okay, so that is the key thing you want to address here. Is there a step-by-step guide on setting up the account? You mean account from XC or account from us? Is XC regulated by MAS? No, it's regulated by FCA, which is UK, Australia, and these are very, very stringent regulators, even more stringent by MAS, and that any of the account would be would have this insurance coverage. Should XC goes down, for example, bankrupt or whatever, then your money would be guaranteed, all right, by this insurance. All right. Third thing is that XC has been around for about 20 years already. I wouldn't say it won't go down, but so far we had no problem. And I always recommend the students not to put a lot of money inside. With profit, you withdraw. With profit, you withdraw. Okay. Even you have broker regulated by MAS, the MF Global also went down. Okay. Any questions here? The whole process from signing up for your course. Yes, there is actually a guide that we send out when you sign up, what to do step by step. We need to screen through trade confirmation picked up by the system. Well, I won't say that you need to screen through. I would really think that for any recommendation by any guru, right, you always also look at it yourself, isn't it? All right. So same thing, anything that pops up by the system, okay, by the dashboard, you also want to have a last look. All right. I think that this is very good, very a good practice. All right. Okay. Let me just go through what is included in this TAW Plus, right? TAW Module 1. the alert would all pairs that you put in, whether it's forex, whether it's index, whether it's crypto, whether it's oil or gas or copper or natural gas or coffee, etc. Withdrawal of profit, you can withdraw via Pay Now. You can fund via Pay Now, withdraw via Pay Now. Yeah. Is it from Axie into us? Yes, in the Sync account. The brokers are actually very strict though. First, you need to, if you fund via, let's say, a credit card, they would have to, the money have to withdraw back to a credit card. Where it comes from, all right, you will go back to where it comes from, okay? Because this is to prevent, how to say, this is to prevent money laundering, okay? So this one is very stringent, right? So what I recommend is always to do via Pay Now or to do via wire transfer, okay? TT, right? Telegraphic transfer. And all Pay Now, you don't need to pay any charges, any fees. But for telegraphic transfer, you need to pay, you need to be deducted off fees, and then that fees can be reimbursed back by Axie. Okay, now Axie has an office in Singapore, and that office, right, will only be a service office. Okay, it cannot be in contact, right, with students, meaning that it cannot be a place, right, where you go to visit them, because they are not allowed, because they are not regulated in Singapore, right? So they are not allowed to physically meet up in the office with their customers. Okay. One of the questions which I want to address is that somebody said this is on MAS investor alert list. I want to address this because myself, right, I went through this event here. Okay. Now, as I said, right, in Singapore, no broker without a license is able to reach to their customers. Okay. Now, including, right, that I was just sharing with some students. There are some brokers who rent a hotel room and conduct some speaker session. That means that they do some speaking session and invite their customers. Now, all these are not allowed. Okay. Now, why was Axie in the investor alert list? Was because one of its ex-manager, all right, that came from a regulated broker, used their office, used Axie office, and then let the KOL, okay, use the office for sales. Okay, that means that lent the office, Axie office, for KOL to use as a preview spot, preview location, right? This is actually not allowed, and this is the reason that got Axie into the MAS alert list. Okay, so I went through this with them because I've been working with Axie for about 15 years already. Okay, I can only say that while this is a bad event, they can't remove it, although that they are very close to getting an MAS license already. And they have a huge office in Singapore, all right, and they have a huge office in UK, and as well as they are huge in the world. Okay, but too bad. Okay, so this is the problem. But for those people who have used them and withdraw money, you realize that there is no issue. Okay. I withdraw every month 5-figure every month, and 2 working days it reached my account. Okay, within 2 working days it will reach my account. All right, so this is something where whether it's a regulator or not regulated, okay, this is the best deal I could get for you. So for example, you want to learn something, right? And I don't encourage you to say that you take the cost and then you get the refund and you close your account. Okay, so this is very bad. But if you want to do that, I can't stop you. Okay, but I hope that you don't do it. I hope that you perhaps, right, come up with a reasonable amount of money, and then you say, okay, I want to use this opportunity to trade, and then I put in a reasonable amount, and then that's it. They don't put in a lot of money inside. Okay, my account with them right now is in a 6-digit account. That means that my trading account with them 6-digit. So far I have no issue with them. Okay, but anyway, if you are totally not comfortable, then no issue, all right? Because they are the only one who is willing to pay for the full cost, okay? In fact, that if you have attended my SGX Academy lesson, you know that I also work with a lot of local brokers. The best deal I could get, right, from the local broker with a lot of terms and conditions was that they only want to come up with $200, okay, $200 of refund to you. And the terms and conditions are horrible. Okay, all right, so let me just continue. We have TAW Plus, right? What's inside would be module 1, which is free. I hope they have taken that. And then TAW 2, which is the full course itself. Then we have the complimentary 576 and the hand holding, right? Now I want to talk about this hand holding. And I think that this hand holding is super. Okay. In fact, there are a lot of people who took this hand holding, all right, they love the hand holding. Okay, so I like to just ask another coach from who is doing the hand holding, all right, which is Pauline, all right, to share with us, all right, about this one. Pauline, I'm just going to share your slides,
Sure.
and then I think that you can take over.
Sure. Thank you so much, Beanie. Yeah, I hope everyone can hear me well. Yeah, my name is Pauline. I'm the co-trainer together with Beanie in this R program. And this R program will be hand-holding you for 12
Pauline,
months.
are you able to share the slides?
Yeah. Share the slides. Okay. So I'm not using the slides on your screen, is it?
Oh, is she not around?
Yeah, I'm around. Can you hear me? Test.
I just make her the host. Any questions before I wait for Pauline here? Any question for me? Okay. Now, while I wait for her,
Cannot hear me?
We
Test.
can hear you.
Okay, can. So do I take over from here? Okay, can. Maybe I'll share with you guys my screen. That will be better. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your response in the chat box. Okay, so as I was mentioning earlier, that I'm the co-trainer together with Beanie in this R program. And in this R program is very much like a mentoring program that you do not have to sign on top of whatever that you're paying for. I think this is the value that we want to bring to you, because whatever cost there is out there currently, no theory will be able to teach you all that you can experience in the real market, like within a 3 or 4 day course. The real experience that you can acquire is through trading in the market itself. So through this hand-holding program for the next 12 months, as we come together to learn and execute trades, and I'm really talking about, and that's where we acquire the experience together to grow as a trader. So that is really the focus of the R program. So in the next slide, I just want to share with you that during the R program itself, right, there will be something called an access time, whereby we will come together to learn, and anyone can actually unmute themselves during the access time to ask questions about trades. And we will explain to you why a certain trade setup is good. And we will also share with you how to execute the trade and how to manage the trade as it moves along. So that is the value that we want to bring to you. Yeah. So with this access program, right, you will realize that me and Beanie will meet you guys from Mondays to Thursdays, while on Friday, we have our friendly admin guy, who is John, that will help you guys on the technical side. So if you have any issues with MT4 and stuff, that is when he will come in to help you guys. Okay, so on top of that, every day, we also have a Telegram support, whereby you can ask questions about trades and even on trading psychology, and we will reply you promptly as much as we can. So these are the kind of support system that we have in the R program to ensure that everybody grows together. Yeah. So I just want to make mention some of the trades that we did as a community. Okay. So the first one is on pound franc. earlier on, Beanie talked about the wash and rinse setup. Okay, so over here, you'll be able to see that there is this magenta wash line that was being formed. And when the dashboard fired an alert, right, the community came together to do some analysis. And we decided that when there was a confirmation of a close in the lower time frame, we decided to go for the bullish wash and rinse setup and to go long. So in this trade, right, we managed to get about 120 pips in a span of about 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Yeah, so this is one of the trades that we did. Another one was on Cat Frank. Okay, so Cat Frank has been on a downtrend for a very, very long time. And one of the things that we learned in our program is how to trade with the trend. Okay, so when there was a bearish wash and rinse signal that came in with the confirmation of this candle, then the community came together as well to take this trade. And this trade actually brought us about 170 pips in about 4 days. So therefore, you would realize that in comparison to recent times, if you have been trading stocks and let's say even indexes, you may not be having a very, very easy time. So that is when, if you are able to have skills to trade other instruments like forex, right? This is just another one of those instruments that can help you to make money easier during this time. Yeah. And I myself, right, I came from a background before I joined Beanie to learn more about wash and rinse, right? I actually, what do you call it? I actually trade stocks more often. In fact, I don't even trade in indices often. So for me, coming from a stocks background, I find that learning forex opened out an entirely new world for me to learn more about currency and the idea of money flow. And that in itself, right, actually helped me to understand stocks and indices a lot better. And Beanie is able to provide insights that no other trainers can, because she has such a vast amount of experience across so many kind of instruments. Therefore, you really will level up as a trader when you come into the community to learn together with us. Yeah. Okay, then last but not least, just to share with you some testimonials from our lovely students. Okay, so over here, right, it is really true that whatever free things or good deals that you have is really true, and that is backed up by our students. I think the best thing that they really love is about this loss cover for up to $500, because like Beanie mentioned, students really come into the program having the fear, what if they lose money? And especially when they're learning something new, or if let's say students have attended previous courses from other trainers and have not been making money, then the last thing they want is to go into another program whereby they're not able to make money. So that is when we want to be very sincere that on top of us value adding you with our technical knowledge, right, we want to share with you guys that this 500 loss cover will really help you to acquire much more experience in the market. Okay, so that's one aspect that I want to highlight. And last but not least will be this. And I wanted to share with you guys that Beanie is a very, very forward-looking person. There are really not that many trainers out there, right, who would develop their own expert advisor or their own AI to help students to trade using robots. So Alum was actually the very first version. Now we are actually on the second version called the Alum Grid. So when you come into the community, right, you will realize that Beanie will always try to innovate, enhance her robots. So now that even when we are already on Alum Grid, which is the latest version, right, she is already thinking of to further enhance her Alum Grid to like the version 3. Yeah, so I think that's very, very exciting, because the trading environment now is not like in the past 10, 20 years ago. So if we don't learn to use robots, right, we may be lagging a little bit behind. So I wanted to share with you guys that this is where there is an edge in being in the wash and rinse community led by Beanie, not just with her experience, but also her passion in wanting to develop more and more tools to help her students trade better. Yeah. Okay, that's all I have for my side. Any questions that you guys would like to ask? me specifically or to Bini?
Thanks a lot, Pauline. I think that is one question, right, on whether there's any loss-making, right?
You mean in terms of trades?
How about Donna? Donna, do you want to just reply in because Donna is also coming from MarketWise community. In fact, that he took my futures course, and then now he's like 5 months in the program. I think that so far, for those that I've guided specifically on where to put, etc., I probably have maybe 90% of the trades correct. What do you think? 90% of the trades correct and hit profit target. Yes. You see, for the R program, we are very, very strict to the students. Okay, very strict, because I told them that I need to box them up and to make sure that they follow exactly our rules. Okay, and it's not really fair when we look at system, right? And then we have all the rules, but then, you know, the accuracy, if you ask the students, you know, I'm not doing well. But the thing is that, do you follow the rules and our rules? So for the R program, for all the trades that I've guided, exactly where to enter, where to take profit, and etc. I think they are all profitable. Okay, and they are very, very profitable. Okay. Pauline, what you think?
Yes, definitely. So that's the good thing about coming into the R program, where we give you specific guidance and on a daily basis, almost on a daily basis, like I would say Mondays to Thursdays. So that will help you in real time to address whatever issues that you have, especially when we know that when you are new into the program, you may be feeling anxious and nervous, and then you have a lot of things that you want to clarify. So that will be the best time now for us to learn together.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Let me just continue with the presentation. Like what Pauline said, right? There would be this R program that's almost every day, but apart from the almost every day, right, we also have the regular programs. That means twice weekly webinars that I will do at night. And then, you know, the broadcast of Signal to Telegram, as well as the suite of indicators. And this is, and even if, let's say, for example, your 12 months alien room, right, which is the use of our indicator, expire already, you can still continue to attend my lesson. Okay. What I am interested is that I'm interested to see you grow, and that's really the intention here. That's why I mean, after you have completed the program, right? Sorry. We only charge for the 12 months, the alien room, which is actually the use of the indicator. But if you gain all the knowledge and you don't want to use our tools, you don't want to use the dashboard, you don't want to use the indicators, then you don't pay for it. You can continue to attend the lesson. All right. Monday to Thursday, what is the meetup time for the R session? Let me just remember. The Pauline's session is on a Monday at 4:30. My session is on Tuesday, 12:30. Then Wednesday is 8:30. All right. Then Thursday, my session at 4:30. Then the night time, my sessions are 9 o'clock. Okay, on Tuesday and Thursday. What's the cost for the 12 months TAR? Okay, let me just get the here. The cost for the 12 months TAR is 576 Sing dollar, 576, huh? All right. But let's not look beyond 1 year. Let's talk about, if this 1 year I can make you the money, then your cost is 0. Any time sensitive actions, example, validity to fund the account. Yes. Sorry, Sunny, I was drinking water and choke. Yes. You have to fund, you have to how to say, fulfill the volume within 3 months from the last promotion date. For example, our promotion date has been extended, right, to 31st of May. So therefore, you have to meet the volume requirement 3 months after 31st of May. Okay, which essentially means that you need to fund the account before you meet the volume requirement. Because if you don't fund the account, you don't have money to trade, right? Okay. So therefore, it's 90 days from the 31st of May right now. Okay. Now I want to actually talk about this one here. Is that in the past, okay, the brokers are extending 3 months by 3 months. Okay. For example, I know that in December it will be extended to March, but right now we are extending month by month. Okay. Now, therefore, there is a chance that next month will not be extended. I'm actually not sure. We are quite fortunate to have it extended, but previously there were 2 brokers who are doing the cash refund. Right now, only left 1 only. Okay. So therefore, if you are really interested in the program, I mean, come on, it is really literally free in a way. Then you sign up quickly. Don't wait anymore. Okay. Because then the earlier you sign up, the earlier you learn. And if the market has opportunities, then we are able to do it. Will the live sessions be recorded? Yes, it will be recorded, and then it will be given to you immediately when we end the session. Okay, so that's the nice part. All right, it will be provided to you, the recording. Any questions for me and on the program? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this link for you here. Okay, now please sign up and pay before 31st of May. Okay, but one thing, all right, please don't wait until the last minute. Okay, because then there will be things that you need to get prepared. Therefore, do it. I think I would say do it right now. Okay, do it right now. Okay. Yes, you can pay by PayPal. It should be working. You can pay by PayNow, also can. All right. You can pay by bank transfer, also can. You can pay by credit card. Weekly webinar day and time. Okay, for the R program, Monday 4:30, Tuesday 12:30, Wednesday 8:30, Thursday 4:30. Okay. All right. So you can scan this one, which is the QR code, and as well as copy this link, click on this link, okay? So that it can bring you to the right pages and you can sign up already. Now, if you don't want to sign up for the paid program, then at least take the free module. Because to me, right, wash and rinse is very powerful. Rather than to know a little bit, you want to take at least the module 1, because module 1 is free of charge. Okay, since it's given to you free, why not? Okay. All right. Any other questions since we are here? Typically, how long is each training session? It depends. For me, my R program is about half an hour. Today, I did my R program for 1 hour because a lot of students ask questions. All right. They've been with us for quite some time already. So they asked question and they are able to interact with me, okay, via the Telegram, okay, by speaking. And this is one thing that Pauline highlighted. That means that it is not via typing. You're able to interact with us via talking. And this is very important because when we do the R program, all right, you don't need the coupon code. When you do the R program, we wanted to make sure every student have an access to the trainer, okay? And we don't do the coaching, right, for 3 months. We do the coaching for 12 months, okay? Because we think that coaching for 12 months come on, our charges are even worse than tuition. Okay, for 12 months, we only charge like $500. What's that? Okay, all right. So this is even worse than tuition, because one tuition 1 month can be $250 for primary school already, if you think about this way. And we are doing it every day for you. Okay, for my session, usually about half an hour to 45 minutes. But Pauline, right, is really very hardworking. I believe that her session is about an hour. Okay. Some people needs to go off and then they can just view the recording. So that's fine, right? Do we need a coupon code? No, you don't need. I need you to go and sign up. That's what I need. I'm sorry for that, but this is really my frank opinion, because you don't really get this kind of a deal, which is to fully refund 1,200, and that's fully refund plus a $500 loss cover. Okay, and take the loss cover because that greatly help. Imagine that someone cover your losses. If your email is taken, that means you have already registered account. You can just call for your password to reset your password, or you can write to our support, then we can just fix up your problem. The trading access time, yes, the access time is part of the R program. Yes, correct. Okay, I will just open this session for another 3 minutes because I think that is getting late. If there's no other questions, I'll end the session. All right, and then you will get a copy of the recording tomorrow. I'm so sorry for the live streaming to fail, because I think that it has to do with the live streaming software. It doesn't really happen often though. All right, but we'll feedback this to the company. All right. Luckily, we have Zoom as the backup. Okay. No other questions. I will end the session, and I hope that, I'll see you guys in our program next week. Okay. Because me and Pauline are, if you look at the testimonial, you should see that we are really very committed. Okay. And this is something where I'm proud of. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Good night. Bye-bye.